pull him out. And sometimes, as Ron Paul has mentioned, they kill him even afterward. So what I want to do is to base this theory on the non-aggression principle and private property rights, which I take as the essence of libertarianism. The non-aggression axiom and private property rights. Private property rights are very important because they determine whether aggression is taking place or not. If I grab your hat, is that aggression? Well, it depends upon who owns the hat. If it's your hat, then it is aggression, but if you stole the hat from me yesterday and I'm now repossessing it, then it's not aggression. So the key is property rights. One other assumption that I'm going to make, and that is that the fertilized egg is a human being. The fertilized egg is a human being. The sperm alone is not a human being because the sperm alone will not grow into a person. The egg alone is not a human being because the egg alone will not grow into a human person, but the fertilized egg will in the right environment. By the way, do you know when the fetus is viable in the Jewish tradition? When it graduates from medical school? I assume I'm going to argue from the basis that the fertilized egg is a human being because, one, I think it's true. I think that that's the gigantic difference between a sperm alone and an egg alone and a fertilized egg, whereas a baby, a fetus, ready to be delivered versus one who is an hour old, there's no real distinction. They look alike. They're the same in every other way. So I think that birth is not the criteria. It's rather the fertilization of the egg. The other reason I want to do this is because I don't want to create a straw man argument for myself, because this compromise is not the pure pro-life position. It's a little bit different, and I ask you to bear with me because this is an economic or a libertarian theoretician seminar, so please bear with me. Okay, so what is evictionism? That's my compromise position, or what I think is the true libertarian position, the only true one. What it is that you have a right to evict the fetus, but not to kill it. Now, abortion is a complex concept. It's sort of like a union strike. What is the libertarian view on a union strike? Well, a union strike consists of two things. One, a mass walkout, which is fine, because if an individual can't walk out, he's a slave. And when an individual walks out, he doesn't lose the right to walk out when other people walk out. So a mass walkout is legitimate. But on the other hand, what a strike also does, it's a blockade, it's a trespass, it's a beating up of scabs. So are we in favor of it or against it? You can't say we're in favor of one aspect of it and against the other aspect of it. I say it's the same thing with abortion. Abortion, too, is a complex concept. On the one hand, you evict, you take the fetus out of the womb, and on the other hand, you kill it. And I claim that we as libertarians ought to favor eviction, but not killing. And it's a compromise because the pro-life people say you can't evict and you can't kill. The pro-choice people say you can evict and you can kill, whereas I think the libertarian view, and by the way, this is very controversial. I've written maybe a dozen articles on it. If any of you are not convinced, and I've only got 15 minutes to explain this very complicated concept, email me. I'm a professor at Loyola University, or go to walterblock.com. Okay. My claim, and please don't boo me, I'm treating you in a serious way. The way to deal with academic subjects, with intellectual subjects, is not to boo or applaud or anything like that. It's to just listen and think about it and write about it and think about it again. I claim that the unwanted fetus is a trespasser because the mother owns the womb. And remember, libertarianism is predicated on private property rights. Now take the case of rape. Take the case of rape. Come on, you're embarrassing people by booing. I'm just trying to develop libertarianism. Give me a break here. The unwanted fetus is a trespasser, and it's very easy to see this in the case of rape. A woman is walking down the street, she gets grabbed, she gets impregnated, and now she's got something growing in her, and you don't call that a trespass? That's absolutely a trespass. If she owns her womb, she's got something growing in it there that she never agreed to. Second premise in this argument, the rights of all fetuses are equal. So if I can prove that one fetus is a trespasser, I can prove that they all obviously all have the same rights, because the fetus that is a result of a rape is just as innocent of any crime as any other fetus. They're all innocent. Only the Nazis or the commies blame the children for the sins of the parents. The fetus who is a result of rape is innocent. And if that's not a trespasser, I don't know what is. Okay, now let me try to give you reasons why I think this is a good idea for you to adopt, and then I'll deal with some objections. On deontology, namely rights, I think it's the only view compatible with libertarianism for reasons I've given. But now let me give you some utilitarian or pragmatic reasons to at least seriously consider this controversial theory. First of all, if we adopt this, at one fell swoop, all babies in the last trimester are saved just like that. Whereas right now, babies are viable in the last trimester and they're killed. They're killed like flies. It's mass murder with a scalpel. Weapons of mass destruction is a scalpel in this case. So if we adopt this view, we save 1/3 of babies, pretty much. Or we prohibit people from killing 1/3 of babies. The second reason is even more important, and that is, with medical technology right now, we save 1/3 of babies, but medical technology keeps improving. Maybe in 25 years, instead of being able to save just babies in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month, we'll go back to the 6th month. Then we'll save 4/9 of babies. And maybe in another 20 years, we'll go back to the 5th month and save even more babies. And you know that in 200 years, they'll have medical technology that will save every baby, and if we adopt this, we'll save every baby. Whereas if we keep with the pro-life situation, we're losing the war. So this is a utilitarian reason, a practical reason, a pragmatic reason, which for a purist libertarian is unworthy of discussion because we're more interested in the deontology or the rights. But still, it's important. We're losing the war. We want to save babies. Human life is precious. A fertilized egg is a human life. And we're losing. Even within among libertarians, it's highly controversial. And for the electorate as a whole, I mean, they've won. We're not going to win. We've got to try something different. You know, I play handball, and one of the things they tell you is if you're losing the game, try something different. So just on utilitarian grounds, please consider this as a possibility. Now what I want to do is consider a few objections to this theory. And what are the objections to this theory? One objection is that the woman by having intercourse, has agreed to have a baby. Now, I don't think that this is a good objection, because there are women, maybe not in the modern day, but libertarian theory applies throughout history. There are women, or there were women, and maybe there are some women in certain parts of the world who are ignorant of where babies come. Maybe they think it comes from the stork. I don't know. All I'm saying is that by merely having intercourse, you're not agreeing to have a baby for 9 months. There is this philosopher, Judith Jarvis Thompson. And what Judith Jarvis Thompson gives is the following scenario. She says, suppose you go to bed one night, and you wake up, and there's a person in bed with you, and you're attached to his kidney, to your kidney, with an umbilical cord. You turn around and you ask him, well, how did you come to be here? And he says, I don't know. I was in a hospital last night with a kidney problem, and some renegade maniacal doctors must have unhooked me and hooked me to you. Well, what rights do you now have? Do you have a right to take a gun and shoot him? No. That would be murder. Do you have a right to evict him? Do you have to carry him around for the rest of your life or for 9 months? No. You can evict him even though he'll die. Now, my theory is not a good theory for the first 2 trimesters, because right now, this compromise means those kids will die because we don't have the medical technology to do it. But I think if you think that you have an obligation to keep this person who needs you for a kidney dialysis machine for the rest of your life, that's not libertarianism either. Now look, libertarianism is a complicated subject. It's not given to, booing or hissing or applauding or anything like that. We are not just a political movement, we're an intellectual movement too. And intellectual people